take a moment, if you can, if this message resonates with you today. December 20th, understand that it's not by chance. The new moon doesn't just happen to people, it actively seeks out specific energetic frequencies, and today, it seems something ancient has recognized you. You might be feeling a subtle shift, perhaps a quieter inner state, a heightened awareness, or a less reactive demeanor. This isn't just a fleeting mood. This new moon isn't here to give you something. It's here to subtly, yet profoundly, claim you. Not everyone will experience this, nor is everyone meant to. But if you're engaging with these words right now, it suggests your soul has already crossed an invisible threshold, and from here, nothing will quite be the same. Stay with this, because by the end, you'll grasp why this new moon chose you even before its arrival. When the new moon truly sees you, many of us perceive the new moon as a time for fresh starts, setting intentions, making wishes, or initiating new projects. But that perspective, while valid, is merely scratching the surface. For those who are deeply attuned, the new moon isn't solely about what begins. It's about recognizing who is ready to move forward, even before any tangible new beginning takes shape. December 20th carries a unique energetic signature. It's not the reset day itself, but rather the quiet, pivotal moment before the reset locks in. It's when the universe subtly discerns which energetic frequencies will advance unchanged, and which are primed for a significant ascension. This isn't a grand public event. You won't see fireworks, experience emotional roller coasters, or encounter obvious dramatic signs. Instead, it arrives with a deep sense of stillness. Genuine recognition doesn't announce itself loudly. It settles in with an undeniable certainty. On this particular day, the universe isn't reviewing your goals, evaluating your efforts, or asking what you desire next. It's checking something far more fundamental: who you have become when no one was watching. This is why December 20th feels intrinsically different. You might notice a detachment from outcomes, a reduced desperation for immediate answers, or a diminished need for constant reassurance. Old desires that once consumed you may now feel distant, not rejected, but simply irrelevant. Ambitions that held a powerful emotional charge may have lost their grip. Even uncertainty might feel surprisingly manageable. This isn't confusion or emotional numbness. It's an internal selection process actively unfolding. The new moon operates in silence, because silence often reveals profound truths. Anyone can perform when life is loud and clear, but only aligned souls remain steady when external circumstances are calm or undefined. And today, it's that very steadiness you possess that is being recognized. This phase is where the universe positions souls, not just circumstances. It isn't shifting things around you yet. It's energetically moving you into your rightful place. You might feel as though you're standing on invisible ground, not falling, not rising, but simply held. That's because you are. This moment of recognition often manifests through subtle internal shifts, a quiet emotional neutrality toward people or situations that once held power over you. You might observe a noticeable reduction in fear-based thinking, a natural pull towards solitude that doesn't feel lonely, or a sudden clarity that emerges without needing logical analysis. There might be a deep-seated sense that something significant has already been decided, even if you can't articulate what it is. These aren't signs of detachment. They're indicators that your energetic sovereignty is actively engaging. Energetic sovereignty means your nervous system is no longer constantly negotiating with fear. Your emotions aren't automatically reacting to every stimulus. Your energy isn't leaking outward in an attempt to control the future. And here's a truth many never fully grasp before the universe grants you anything new. It often removes the urgency to have it. Urgency isn't genuine desire. It's an indication of internal instability. And instability simply cannot hold the weight of destiny. That's why December 20th doesn't feel dramatic, exhilarating, or chaotic. It feels final, not like an ending, but like a quiet, internal resolution that no longer requires revisiting. Somewhere deep within you, something has settled. It's not an emotional decision, but an energetic one, a line crossed that doesn't allow for retreat. You may not have spoken it aloud, but your system has already decided, I'm not repeating this cycle. I'm no longer forcing timelines. I won't abandon myself to keep something alive. And the universe registered that decision instantly. Because the moment you stop trying to force life, life stops relentlessly testing your endurance. This is a test you passed without even realizing it was happening. Not a test of patience or faith, but a profound test of non-resistance. You remained present without demanding guarantees. You stayed open without chasing obvious signs. You maintained calm without needing to know the outcome. And that is the frequency the new moon recognizes. This is precisely why you're no longer manifesting from a place of lack. You're not visualizing to escape your current reality. You're not using affirmations to override fear. Instead, you are magnetizing because your energy is fundamentally stable. Alignment doesn't demand, it attracts. And because of this new moon didn't arrive to challenge you. It arrived because your frequency has already harmonized with what comes next. This isn't the moment where everything rushes towards you. That comes later. This is the crucial moment where the universe meticulously prepares the path, free of resistance. You might not perceive outward movement yet, but the path is no longer blocked. And when movement finally begins from this state of internal alignment, it doesn't require strenuous effort. It simply requires permission. You implicitly granted that permission today by no longer forcing life to prove itself to you. That is why the new moon recognized you. And once this recognition occurs, the universe doesn't delay. It prepares quietly, precisely, and exactly on time. Why your energy feels different today. If today feels a bit off, not in a negative, heavy, or chaotic way, but simply unfamiliar and quiet, there's a reason. Your energy is no longer actively leaking outward. December 20th marks a significant containment shift, and containment is one of the most frequently misunderstood spiritual upgrades. For a long time, your soul was broadcasting not always consciously, but energetically. It was sending out signals, searching, scanning, calling, asking, and waiting. Even when you appeared calm on the surface, a part of your energy was still reaching forward, seeking answers, validation, reassurance, or proof. That phase is now drawing to a close. And that's precisely why today feels different. Your energy is no longer trying to be received. It's learning to simply hold itself. Instead of expanding outward, your frequency is folding inward. This isn't shrinking or withdrawing. It's a powerful process of consolidation. In spiritual terms, containment doesn't signify restriction. It signifies focus. When an aligned soul's energy becomes contained, the speed of manifestation significantly increases. This isn't because you're trying harder, but because your energy is no longer scattered. Scattered energy manifests slowly and diffusely. Contained energy manifests cleanly and directly. You might notice subtle but undeniable shifts today, a sudden lack of interest in over-explaining yourself, an almost physical intolerance for noise, drama, or unnecessary conversation, a deeper and quieter connection to your inner voice, or that sense of something already being decided, even without specific details. This isn't emotional withdrawal, it's energetic efficiency activating. The new moon is anchoring you into your next timeline before the outer world even has a chance to respond. That's why nothing external seems to be happening, yet the internal shift and lock must occur first. Here's something crucial to understand when your soul knows what's next. It stops negotiating with the present. Negotiation is often an unconscious habit, a way of keeping options open when true clarity hasn't arrived. But once clarity lands, even subtly, the nervous system naturally relaxes. You no longer argue with reality. You stop trying to prematurely reshape it. You simply allow the necessary space to form. This is why you might find yourself naturally releasing things right now: old habits, certain people, unhelpful thought patterns, or outdated expectations. What's striking is how it's happening not emotionally or dramatically, but energetically. There are no confrontations, no elaborate closure speeches, no internal debates, just a quiet, natural distance forming. And distance without bitterness is one of the strongest indicators of genuine alignment. This is alignment doing the work for you. You are no longer expending energy managing what no longer belongs in your future. Instead, your system is quietly redirecting that power back to itself. This new moon is recalibrating your capacity to receive. Receiving isn't passive, it demands stability. If your energy is constantly broadcasting outward, there's no available space to truly receive. Containment creates that space. That's why you're no longer meant to chase signs. Chasing keeps energy in perpetual motion. Containment allows signs to arrive effortlessly. And here's the shift that changes everything. You are no longer looking for confirmation. You are becoming the confirmation. Others may not be able to explain it, but they will instinctively feel it. Your presence will emanate a deeper calm. Your words will carry more weight. Your decisions will feel less rushed. This is when the universe fundamentally alters how it interacts with you. Instead of obstacles designed to teach hard lessons, you'll begin to notice flow-based corrections. Instead of dramatic wake-up calls, you'll receive gentle redirections. You might observe softer transitions where there once were abrupt endings, better timing without manipulation, conversations arriving exactly when clarity is needed, and doors opening without any emotional charge. This isn't because life suddenly became easier, but because you became clearer. Clarity naturally dissolves resistance. Resistance isn't external, it's internal hesitation, doubt, and divided energy. When these inner conflicts resolve, life no longer needs to push you. It simply aligns. This is why December 20th doesn't feel exciting in the way people typically expect spiritual moments to feel. it feels settled, anchored, and composed. That's because your energy is no longer trying to outrun itself. You are fully arriving into your own authentic frequency. And when that happens, manifestation no longer feels like wishing. It feels like a recognition unfolding. Clarity is profoundly magnetic. And today, your clarity isn't loud, it's stable. That stability is what the new moon needed to perceive. And now that it has, the universe seamlessly adjusts, the divine signs activating around you. True chosen ones don't typically experience loud miracles. They don't get sudden explosions, dramatic announcements, or obvious, instantaneous rewards. Instead, they receive something far more precise, quiet confirmations. These are the kinds of signs that require no explanation, demand no specific belief, and you recognize them intrinsically before you can even articulate them. December 20th activates this subtle layer of communication, not through spectacle or emotional highs, but through pure resonance. You might notice signs appearing in ways that feel casual, almost effortless, as if the universe is no longer trying to convince you of anything, because it isn't. This isn't a proving phase, it's a recognition phase. The signs activating now are subtle, yet exact. They don't shout, they simply land. You might experience repeating numbers showing up without drama, not during moments of stress, but in moments of quiet neutrality. You might have dreams that feel strangely instructional, not symbolic or emotional, but clear, directive, and calm. You might suddenly remember something from your past, a conversation, a decision, a moment not to relive it, but to understand it from a completely different perspective. Or you might feel a firm internal no, where you used to overthink, hesitate, or feel compelled to justify. No fear, no explanation, just pure certainty. These experiences aren't random. They aren't predictions of what's coming, but rather alignment signals feedback from the universe, confirming that your internal frequency is now synchronized with your next phase. The new moon doesn't communicate through logic. Logic belongs to the mind. The new moon communicates through resonance, and resonance belongs to the body, intuition, nervous system, and soul. That's why trying to explain what you're feeling today might not quite work. Words fall short. Descriptions feel inaccurate. Even your closest connections may not fully understand. And that's intentional, because this phase wasn't designed to be intellectually understood. It was designed to be trusted. This is what happens when internal alignment reaches a critical threshold. The universe stops testing your persistence and begins to trust your stability. What opens up next isn't just a new chapter, it's an entirely new relationship with time itself. Time begins to feel different. You stop rushing, not because you've given up, but because the underlying urgency simply dissolves. You realize you don't need to push moments forward, force progress, or outrun uncertainty. And, paradoxically, because you stop rushing, things often begin to arrive faster. That is the true paradox of alignment. Speed doesn't come from pressure, it comes from precision. When you are aligned, time stops resisting you. Moments meet you halfway. Opportunities arrive already formed. Conversations happen at the exact right point of readiness. This new moon didn't hand you a wish. It handed you something far more valuable: permission. Permission to stop explaining yourself. Permission to stop proving your intentions. Permission to stop waiting for external validation to move forward. This permission didn't originate from outside, it arose from within you. And when a soul grants itself permission, the universe immediately follows suit. You might feel this as a deep internal completion, not excitement or anticipation, but completion. Completion doesn't mean everything is finished. It means the search is over. You are no longer operating from a place of longing. You are operating from a place of knowing. This is where manifestation fundamentally changes form. You stop asking, when will it happen? You stop wondering, am I doing enough? You stop questioning, is this the right path? Because those questions belong to someone who hasn't yet fully arrived at their frequency. You have, from this point forward, what is genuinely meant for you doesn't need to be chased. It doesn't demand sacrifice. It doesn't require anxiety to sustain it. It recognizes you, just as this message found you today, without effort, without searching, without force. Recognition becomes the new language of your life. You will notice that things either fit easily into place or they quietly fall away. No drama, no profound sense of loss, no emotional bargaining, just alignment doing its natural work. This is the phase where destiny no longer feels distant. It feels present, not because everything has arrived, but because nothing feels missing. And when nothing feels missing, life has ample room to give. The new moon hasn't rushed your timeline, it has secured it. Your future is no longer fragile. It doesn't require constant effort to hold together. It is stable enough to unfold naturally. And that stability changes how you navigate the world. You will notice greater confidence without ego, peace without disengagement, discernment without judgment, and power without force. This is embodied authority, not loud, not dominant, not performative, but undeniable. And when someone reaches this state, the universe doesn't interfere. It collaborates. From here on, life responds to you differently because you are no longer reacting to it. You are leading from alignment, and alignment never rushes because it already knows precisely where it's going. The irreversible identity shift. There comes a moment in every truly aligned journey when the old identity quietly stops responding. It doesn't collapse or shatter, it simply stops answering the call. After December 20th, you may begin to notice this happening. You don't feel like the person you used to be, yet you're also not actively trying to become someone new. This is that in-between state where identity rewiring occurs, and it cannot be undone. You might find that familiar labels no longer quite fit. Roles you once carried, the fixer, the achiever, the emotional anchor, the one who always explains, now feel distant, not rejected, but expired. This isn't loss, it's integration. The new moon has activated a shift where your identity is no longer built on reaction, past history, or mere survival. It is now fundamentally built on presence. Presence changes everything. When identity stabilizes, you stop performing your life. You stop shaping yourself around external expectations. You stop adjusting your tone to be understood. You stop shrinking or expanding to fit into different environments. Instead, you simply arrive as you are, and the environment begins to adapt. This is why some people may seem unsure how to approach you now. It's not because you're distant, but because you are self-contained. Self-contained energy doesn't ask permission to exist. It doesn't compete. It doesn't chase recognition. It doesn't explain itself into acceptance. It simply is. And this can be deeply unsettling to systems that rely on control, hierarchy, or emotional manipulation. You may notice people revealing their true intentions without even trying. Dynamics shifting without confrontation. Old power struggles dissolving. Certain connections subtly losing their relevance. This isn't because you changed the rules, but because you simply stopped playing the old game. The new moon has effectively removed you from identity loops. These loops keep souls repeating old stories. This identity shift frees souls to choose consciously. This is why you no longer feel a compelling urge to overthink the future. You trust your internal compass now, and trust is the very foundation of irreversible change. Once identity stabilizes, the universe no longer needs to test your boundaries because you naturally enforce them. This is the phase where your presence becomes discerning, not exclusive. Your time matters, your energy matters, your attention matters, and what matters to you begins to matter to life itself. This isn't ego. This is alignment with self-respect. The new moon didn't give you a new mask. It removed the need for one. And once that mask drops, there's truly no going back. Your path becomes untouchable. After December 20th, something subtle yet irreversible takes place. Your path becomes non-interferable. This doesn't mean difficulties vanish, nor that effort is no longer required, nor that life suddenly becomes entirely predictable. What changes is access. Interference simply loses its access to you. When a soul achieves energetic coherence, it enters a state where external forces can no longer fundamentally redirect its trajectory. They might appear, they might test the proximity, but they can no longer alter your core direction. They can only observe. Energetic coherence means your thoughts, emotions, nervous system, and intuition are no longer pulling in disparate directions. You are no longer split between desire and fear, action and hesitation, knowing and doubt. Internal division creates openings for interference. Coherence effectively closes them. This is why, after December 20th, you may notice fewer obstacles. Not because life has become universally easier, but because misalignment no longer lingers long enough to create genuine disruption. Wrong opportunities don't persist. Incompatible people don't stay hidden. Incorrect directions don't feel confusing for long. They reveal themselves early. And early revelation is a profound form of protection. What once required arduous lessons, repetitive cycles, and prolonged struggle now resolves quickly, sometimes even before it fully forms. You no longer need breakdowns to learn the truth. Your system recognizes it immediately. This is protection activating through clarity, not through external control. You are no longer guided solely by trial and error. You are guided by resonance and rejection. Resonance feels expansive. It feels open, calm, and aligned, even if it presents a challenge. Rejection feels neutral. There's no drama, no emotional charge, no need to justify walking away. That neutrality is critical, because neutrality isn't avoidance, it's mastery. When rejection no longer triggers an emotional response, it loses its power to derail you. When resonance no longer creates urgency, it gains the power to stabilize you. This precise balance is what makes your path truly untouchable. You no longer fight against what doesn't belong. You no longer argue with misalignment. You no longer chase what requires you to abandon yourself to sustain it. That single shift closes most karmic loops. Karmic loops persist through emotional engagement, through reaction, attachment, and resistance. When those dissolve, the loop collapses entirely on its own. This is why progress accelerates now, not because you are moving faster, but because you are no longer taking detours. Detours stem from doubt, from second-guessing, from fear of missing out or making the wrong choice. When those dissolve, movement becomes direct and efficient. The universe responds to coherence by simplifying your path, not by removing responsibility, but by removing extraneous noise, less confusion, less contradiction, less internal debate. Instead, there's more precision, more impeccable timing, and more exact movement. You may begin to feel something unfamiliar, yet deeply grounding a sense that you don't really need backup plans anymore. Not because you're reckless, but because you trust alignment more than contingency. You trust divine timing without needing constant reassurance. You move when it feels right, not when external pressure builds. You stop explaining your decisions, even to people who once demanded justification. This isn't isolation. This is self-trust operationalizing. When destiny transitions from potential into execution, elaborate explanations become unnecessary. Explanation is for uncertainty. Execution is for clarity. This is destiny leaving the realm of theory and entering tangible form. The new moon didn't create this alignment, it sealed it. Seeing is distinct from activation. Activation introduces energy. Seeing stabilizes it. From this point forward, what is genuinely meant for you will not miss you. Not because you're manifesting harder, visualizing more intensely, performing more rituals, or repeating affirmations endlessly. Those tools belong to phases of searching. This phase is about availability. Availability doesn't imply passively waiting. It means being internally aligned enough to respond seamlessly when the moment arrives. You are available now because you are no longer divided. Internal division creates hesitation. Coherence creates immediate readiness. This is why timing becomes so much cleaner. Opportunities arrive when you are truly prepared to hold them, not emotionally overwhelmed, not desperate, not doubting. You meet moments instead of frantically chasing them. And when you meet moments from a place of coherence, they stay. This is also why interference can no longer enter your path effectively. Interference relies on confusion, on emotional hooks, on divided attention. But clarity has no such openings. Clarity doesn't argue, it doesn't defend, it doesn't engage in power struggles, it simply moves. Your path becomes untouchable, not because nothing challenges you, but because nothing can divert you. You may still feel resistance, but it no longer destabilizes you. You may still encounter opposition, but it no longer defines your direction. External forces lose their influence when internal authority stabilizes. This is what true spiritual protection actually looks like, not an avoidance of difficulty, but an immunity to derailment. Your path is now self-correcting. When something is off, you feel it immediately. When something is aligned, you recognize it without effort. This feedback loop is instantaneous, and instant feedback prevents long-term chaos. This is why you may notice your life becoming quieter, yet far more effective. Less explanation, less emotional processing, less mental rehearsal. more genuine movement, more presence, and more tangible results. You are no longer proving readiness. You are demonstrating it through coherence. And coherence makes destiny unstoppable, not dramatic, not aggressive, not forced, but unstoppable, because nothing is resisting it anymore. Your path is clear, because you are clear, and clarity doesn't need protection. It is protection. From here on, life doesn't need to correct you through struggle. It collaborates with you through alignment. This isn't the beginning. This is the crucial point where deviation becomes unnecessary. And from this place, what unfolds next does so with precision, impeccable timing, and a profound sense of inevitability. Your path is no longer something you need to defend. It is something that moves forward cleanly, steadily, and exactly as intended. If you're still reading, consider this your confirmation. December 20th didn't arrive to dramatically change your life overnight. It arrived to permanently lock in your frequency. You didn't miss your moment. You became the version of yourself that no longer needs to rush toward it. The new moon didn't choose you because you asked. It chose you because you were genuinely ready to receive without grasping. From here on, life responds differently, not louder, not faster, but cleaner, clearer, and exactly on time. Trust what's settling in your body right now. That calm isn't emptiness, it's command. And when an aligned soul reaches that state, the universe doesn't hesitate. It aligns